we're marking the launch of a renewed website with an expanded database behind it, which encompasses the complete archives of Albert Einstein, which is 80,000 documents from Einstein and about Einstein.
What can you tell us really about the connection between Einstein and the Jewish people, and then between Einstein and the Israeli state, the Israeli communities in the land of Israel?
Einstein was very involved in Jewish things after moving to Berlin, and his involvement became stronger and stronger with the years. He was very interested in the political situation in the Middle East. No question that Einstein was dyed-in-the-wool leftist. He advocated that Jews and Arabs should live in a kind of combined state, and it was still in 1947 he was against an independent Jewish state. Though this changed in the year after, in 1948, during the War of Independence, where he saw that the Arabs were preparing for war and not ready to accept the growing Jewish community in the land of Israel, and everybody knew that the British would leave the area, and at that time it was already clear that there would be no possibility for one state for Jews and Arabs together, and then you have to face reality, and then he realized that the only way for the Jewish Yishuv, the Jewish community in Eretz Yisrael to survive would be by creating an independent Jewish state, and he changed his position early in 1948.
Now, people like to be proud of the Jewish kop, the Jewish head, the Jewish brain. Do you characterize Einstein as an example for a Jewish kop?
No, I don't think so. He was I don't think it was example for the Jewish brains. What he was an example for, I guess, would be an example for the intellectual outsider. And that's true for other like Sigmund Freud, who also met a lot of headwind with his expositions at the time, and a lot of it was combined with anti-Semitism. And you see, if you're already an outsider, you don't have so much to lose. As if you're an established professor at the university, if you start with some crazy theories, you might lose your position, you might lose your status. But if you're already an outsider, that is not accepted in any university. So what do you have to lose? And of course, so in this is a Jewish Jewish faith. And what happened in his later years, that he started more and more to identify with the Jewish people, and more and more to take care of fellow Jews. And a fact that is little known is that in the late 30s, when Jews were discriminated against and living in danger in Europe, and Jews had to flee Nazi Germany, he helped a lot, and he was already for quite a few years in America. He helped a lot of fellow Jews, especially from the scientific community, to escape Nazi Germany.
And there was even a thought at some point to appoint him as the president.
Well, yeah, that was a weird story. After Chaim Weizmann died, the first president, Ben-Gurion thought that the world expected from him to ask Einstein to become the second president of the state of Israel, but Einstein politely declined. But it was clear for everybody that he wouldn't have been a good president anyway. It was clear to him, and he said, "I wouldn't be up to the task." And also, of course, they didn't want him to become president. They had to, they felt that they had to offer to him, but they have private, we have notes where they said, why? What will we do if he will accept? Because he knew that he was a non-conformist and he wouldn't go along with their politics. And he says, I wouldn't be a good president because what would happen if I wouldn't agree with the politics of the government? I wouldn't be a president that quietly signs every law that's passed in the Knesset. If I think that's not right, then I would, I would show I would show my opinion, and I would not allow this to pass. And of course, he understood that he would not be a good president because of that, and he would keep his own head and his own opinions and not go along. He was not a practical person in this regard.
How about the connection between Einstein's studies and what we're seeing these days, the nuclear threat, that field? Is it something you relate to here?
Yes. Einstein was a pacifist all his life. And but on that's on an intellectual level, and he acted along these lines. He was very supportive of movements who tried to advance to resist military service, and supported these people also individually and also the movements. But in 1939, when he was convinced that the Nazi Germany would develop a nuclear weapon, he wrote a famous letter to Roosevelt saying, "We can't wait. America has to develop a similar weapon, so we won't lose the run to a nuclear bomb to Nazi Germany and lose the war." So. Of course, it turned out, in hindsight, that the Nazis were far from reaching a nuclear bomb, but you couldn't know that by then. And he was very sorry that his support of nuclear research resulted in the bombs of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. But again, you have to see from which point in time you're talking about. Are you talking from 1939? Are you talking from 1945? So at this time, he was really concerned that Nazi Germany would win the war with a nuclear bomb, and it could have been, if the Nazis would have had reached the stage of developing a nuclear bomb, that would have probably had decided the war. Oh, we don't know, but that was his worry.
A pacifist who basically was behind the nuclear bomb.
To a certain degree, yes, but yeah.